Good evening, this is BelGeode and we are back with some more AeroFly FS2. And tonight's episode is dedicated to one of my favorite viewers, Mr. Austin. Austin suggested to me that I show off the F-15E Strike Eagle that comes standard with AeroFly FS2. Now he's got a personal connection to this because he lives in Boise, Idaho, which happens to be the home of the squadron known as the Bold Tigers, which I've featured before on one of my DCS episodes. So I told him I would take a look at this baby here, and even though Boise is not currently modeled in AeroFly FS2, I figured I would do the next best thing. So here we are in Nellis, over by Las Vegas, just north of Vegas, in the same shelter that I parked the Hornet in the last episode. We're going to be flying today from Nellis Air Force Base to Edwards Air Force Base out in California. Now, I should also mention that in all the years that I've been doing flight simulation, very seldomly do I land or take off from Edwards Air Force Base. So this will be a real treat to see how AeroFly FS2 has modeled that airbase. Alright, and I've taken the liberty ahead of time of setting up our headings. However, I need to change my heading bug here because I have it set to 040, which is actually the heading for the runway in Nellis. And in order to get it where it needs to be, I need to set it to 030 because we're going to be taking off from runway 3 left here at Nellis Air Force Base. My course needle is currently set to heading 224, which is the direct GPS route that I have programmed in for our flight out to Edwards today. Bear in mind, the same thing applies with the Hornet as well as most of the other aircraft that come with AeroFly FS2. While everything looks really phenomenal, not everything is functional. For example, our MFDs, we can't change the different screens, so we're stuck with basically what you're looking at right here, which is essentially what you need to be seeing anyway. Since fuel systems are not modeled and so on and so forth, there's really no need to check how much gas we've got left. The moving map in some aircraft in AeroFly FS2 will actually show you your flight path. It doesn't look like they've gotten to the military aircraft yet to make that also a thing. But we can let it slide because this is still early access, and while I have heard rumors that AeroFly FS2 is going to be going to a full release sometime in the very near future, right now there's still a lot of work that they can be doing prior to that. Alright, but let's see exactly how much power this aircraft has and whether or not IPACS was able to successfully model the flight dynamics and so on and so forth. We might also be taking a quick look at the autopilot. Bear in mind, I've only used it like maybe once or twice, so I'm not 100% certain on how well this autopilot works. So we'll find out together. Okay, but I think I've yacked enough. Time is a-wasting, so let's make our way to runway 3 left, and we'll get the show on the road for you. So brakes off. Alright, parking brakes are off. And we'll pull forward. Alrighty there, Eagles. We will see you another time. Let me make sure my wings are clear here. Okay, we are clear, so we'll make the turn. That's one of the first things that I noticed about this aircraft as I started to test it out in preparation to record this episode. Ground handling is a heck of a lot better than the standard F-15 Charlie model that comes in DCS World either as a standalone add-on or as part of Flaming Cliffs 3. The DCS add-on, it seems to me like it's got very spindly landing gear. It just feels like a delicate flower, whereas this definitely feels a little bit better. I wouldn't say it's necessarily as beefy as, say, a Navy aircraft, because honestly, I'm really partial to those Navy aircraft because, let's face it, I can slam that thing down on a carrier deck at 135 knots, and it will withstand it. Whereas Air Force aircraft, you probably don't want to try that. You want to be a little bit more gentle with it. Another thing that I've noticed about this airbase here in AeroFly FS2 is the fact that there appears to be a lack of taxiway and apron markings. The runway markings are there, and some of the hold shorts are there. But as you'll see as I make my way around this turn, there is no hold short marking in this area right here. I don't know if that's an oversight on the part of the IPACS devs, or if the real airbase just doesn't have those markings there. I'm inclined to think that it might mean that this is still a work in progress, but I won't hold that against them because I do see some hold short markings over there. Alright, let's taxi into position here on 3 left. Okay, right here should do the trick. Alright, we got a little bit of crosswind here. Not much, but enough for it to possibly hamper my staying straight down the runway. But I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Alright, I don't know why it's a force of habit for me to just check all of my switches since I really can't operate most of them. But it's just one of those things. Maybe in a past life I was a fighter pilot, who knows. Actually, I think in a past life I was a helicopter pilot, but we'll get into that later. Alright, it is time, folks. Brakes down, throttles up. And brakes off, and we are rolling. And sure enough, I'm drifting a little to the left. Okay, we are at rotate speed. We're going to go to an outside view. And that is what they call a dirty roll, where you put your landing gear in and you roll around. I probably could have done it a little bit better were I in the cockpit, but you know me. I gotta show off a little bit outside the cockpit. Okay, but now that we're in clean configuration, let's see exactly how much power this aircraft has by pulling it up to the vertical. Wow. Okay. Did IPACS do right, or did IPACS do right? You see our altitude, right? We are at Angels 34, or 34,000 feet in that short space of time. That is absolutely incredible. And our speed is still up there within limits. Look at that. That's Nellis down below. That's just incredible. I know that this aircraft does have a lot of thrust-to-weight ratio, but dang, I gotta say, IPACS, you done did good on this one. That is some raw power right there, and I'm really impressed with it. Okay, so you could see Vegas down below. I believe that is North Las Vegas Airport. And there's downtown Vegas, there's McCarran, there's a strip. Wow, it all looks so good. We've got Lake Mead back there with the Hoover Dam. We're gonna refrain from any shenanigans around Vegas. I think they've had enough of our tomfoolery here. So let's go ahead and set ourselves on course. We need to be on a heading of about 224, so right here should do the trick. And I'm going to test out our autopilot here. So autopilot on. Let's see if we can bring it up to about 35,000-ish. We're at 34.9. Perfect, right there. Okay. Alright, now my heading hold seems to be taking over, so we're going to need to quickly correct that. There we go. I'm going to swing us back around the other way real quick. In the meantime, take another look at Vegas. I'm telling you, this sim just seems to keep amazing me. I realize the area to fly in really isn't that large in the grand scheme of things, but what we do have to fly in is just absolutely astounding. Every time I put the Oculus Rift on and hop into one of the aircraft that comes with this thing, I'm just constantly amazed. I love it. I absolutely love it. Alright, let's get a little bit more airspeed here. So we'll put it up to full mil. And we should be on heading now. It says 223, but I'm going to correct that by switching us over one notch. So yes, our course needle and our heading bug both align. Now, I know that the VOR1 and VOR2 are tracking different VOR stations, so our course needle isn't going to look like it's properly lined up, unfortunately. And I haven't quite mapped all of the controls that I need to, so I can't really change like our VOR frequency and whatnot. And of course, there's nothing to click on over here, so can't do that either. I could probably try it from our backseater, because yes, this is a two-seater, and we do have a Wizzo back here. So let's change our view real quick. Okay, so we are now in the back seat. This is what the Wizzo gets to see when he's riding shotgun here. As you can see, we've got the moving map again, and we've got the same two MFDs that we saw up front, and then of course our engine controls. Now again, a lot of this is non-functional, so if I could make a request to the developers of AeroFly FS2, if you can, when you can, please invest some more time in fleshing out these military aircraft, because I love these military planes and they just look so beautiful to be so non-functional in the most respects. Like, we even have the same upfront controls here that the pilot has, however nothing can be clicked on. I'm moving my mouse right around and there's nothing I can click on here. So yeah, hopefully they will resolve that at some point in time. Like I said, I know their big priority is to get out of early access and into full release, and then they can really kick all the updates into high gear. But put it on the wish list as far as things that I would like to see. And speaking of which, by the way, IPACS, how is that Robinson R22 coming along? Don't think I don't know about that. As regular viewers of this channel will know, I am a sucker for a good helicopter. If you're coming out with a helicopter, yes, I want to be on the ground floor on that one. I love my helos. Alright, let's see what other interior views we have before we head back up to the front seat. Okay, where are we? Whoa. Oh, this is like if I were perched on the nose here. That's pretty cool. Hey, look, that's supposed to be me. And there's my Wizzo in the back, just kind of chilling. That's awesome. Okay, what else do we have? Ah, yes, the standard external view. I really love this splinter skin that comes standard with this. There's just like a regular texture similar to the ones that we saw back at Nellis. Then there's this, and there's the desert texture. This one obviously is my favorite though. There's another side view. Really gives you an impression just how big this thing is. I've stood next to these things in real life and they just about dwarf me. Really impressive. And the sound is so awesome. Massive props on the sound. This is what an F-15 sounds like. Alright, and we're back inside. Okay, now, since I do not have any kind of GPS to tell me where I am going to do a little bit of a cheat that comes with AeroFly FS2. You will not be able to see this, and I can't stress that enough. It does not replicate itself in the recording, but it will be seen in my Oculus Rift, so I can see what I'm doing here. What I'm talking about is a helmet-mounted display, or the HUD, that comes with this thing. So if I push on the button that I have set for that, I can actually see in front of me right now our directions, and all around me it's got all the headings. So I'm seeing, you know, like heading 19, 18, 17, 16, 15 as I incrementally move my head around. And I can also see my speed and altitude, which just kind of stays in the center of your vision. But the other thing too, when I look down here, which right now you should be seeing my joystick and the moving map, what I'm actually seeing in front of me here is a compass rose that also shows our flight plan. Now, I don't know of a way to zoom this thing in or out, so I can't see exactly how close we are to Edwards as of yet. However, it'll at least tell me if I'm going in the right direction, and according to what I'm seeing here, we are just to the left of our flight plan. So I could, in theory, correct that. I'm not going to do it just yet, though. Alright, now the next thing that I want to do, I want to kind of get down to the deck and do a little bit of a sprint to see if we can get to Edwards. From my understanding, I believe those mountains there pretty much are the mountains just before, like, LA. So I would imagine one of these light desert areas up ahead is probably going to be where Nellis is. We'll find out when we get a little bit closer. But for now, I'm going to turn off the autopilot and we're going to hit the deck. We're probably going to pick up speed really quickly here, so luckily I've got this big honking speed brake on the back. I'll be using that momentarily. Let me just make sure that we're still on course. Alright, speed brake, we need you. There we go, speed brake is currently out. And part of the reason why I'm coming down to the deck is I want to open this thing wide out. I want to see just how fast this thing can go. I know that at least, you know, on record, this thing can go over Mach 2. Let's see if we can do that. So we should be down to the deck momentarily. We're already at Angel 17 or 17,000 feet. Love these flats. This is just so awesome. I'm still amazed by how in-depth the terrain mesh is and the coloration of the scenery. You can tell this thing was designed by people who really enjoy flying and actually take things like VFR flying seriously, because even when you get down close, it still looks real. You saw that in the last episode. Alright, speed brakes, we don't need you anymore. I'm going to put you in. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm going to pick up some speed here. We'll bring it down to about 7,000 or 6,000 feet, depending on how tall those mountains are in front of us. Alright, right about here should be good, and that's about 8,000. And we'll bring it down one more 1,000. Why not? Why not? Apparently there's a little town or something over there. Or maybe it's just a homestead. Alright, we are at 7,000 right now, so let's go ahead and light the fires. We are booking now. If you look on the left side underneath the box that contains our current airspeed, you'll see the letter M, and right next to it you'll see our actual Mach number, which is currently at Mach 1.97. We are about to pass 2 times the speed of sound. And there we go. We are now officially going twice the speed of sound. Look at the landscape going by. That is too cool. That is really cool. If I only have one complaint, is when we did that little flyby view, it didn't really feel like we were going supersonic. DCS, I believe, has this perfect. When you go supersonic in DCS, you know it. You will see yourself pass by, and then you hear the sonic boom. That is missing currently in AeroFly FS2, and I'm hoping that they'll be able to rectify that in the coming updates. Alright, but there you go, folks. We can definitely make it over Mach 2. That is exhilarating. Wow. Okay, I'm going to pull us back to full mil. Not that I'm worried about us running out of gas or anything, because fuel systems are not modeled. And I'm going to check my HUD, or my helmet mounted display, that I can see but you cannot. Okay, it tells me we should be getting close to Edwards Air Force Base. It should be somewhere off in that direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gain a little bit of altitude here and see if I can identify it. As I said before, it has been a while since I've even tried landing at Edwards in any flight simulator. But I kind of remember what it looks like, and I kind of remember some of the telltale signs for it. So we'll know them when we see them. But yeah, I am thinking it is in that direction. So since we are Air Force, we're going to do a little bit of reconning here. Swing out to the right. Almost said left. I'm always getting my left and my right confused. That's not a good thing for any kind of pilot, let me just tell you. Okay, yeah, this is starting to look vaguely familiar. Matter of fact, let's take a quick look from the outside. You know what? I am thinking that is in fact Edwards. If you know anything about Edwards Air Force Base, one of the things it's most famous for is being the spot where the Space Shuttles used to land. One of the spots. And sure enough, I do see those desert markings that indicate the runway extensions and so on. So yep, I'm pretty sure we found our destination. Now we just need to figure out which runway is the one that we want. And I do believe I have an idea as to which one that would be. Okay, it's not this one that we're over right now. Although that's interesting. There's commercial traffic down there, and it looks like also some Lockheed C-130 Hercules. I'm thinking it's this runway, only facing in the opposite direction. So let me go ahead and drop some power. We'll bring this bird in. And hopefully I can land it better than I do in DCS World. Yeah, if you've ever seen my first F-15 video for DCS World, it's called Playing with the Boys. It's probably the single most popular DCS video that I have. Yeah, that landing, I'm not too proud of it. But I kept it, because that's how I am. Whatever happens in the video is what stays in the video. Alright, we're losing power, which is good. I like that. And we're under 250 knots now. I don't remember what the max speed is for gear extension, but considering the fact that we're now down to 220, I'm thinking this is about right. So we'll put the gear down, and we'll also put our flaps down. Okay, we're sufficiently far out. We're going to use that straight line that comes into the runway, so let me get us turned around here. I don't want to drop too much speed, mind you. Okay, yep, that is our destination. Alright, we're swinging around. Quick check, make sure our landing configuration is good. Okay, landing configuration looks good. So we'll start bringing her in. We're going to follow this straight line here. That should bring us right down to the runway. Ah, this is very nice. I don't know why I've never come to Edwards Base more often. Because honestly, I kind of like the layout here. There's a lot of real estate for you to play around in. It's almost kind of like along the lines of Tonopah, which I've shown off before in a couple of my FSX videos. It's just got a lot of real estate that you can just horse around in. Especially if you have any kind of combat aircraft or combat capable aircraft. You know, you can drop bombs on the range and so on and so forth. Needless to say, I don't know if combat is something that is planned for AeroFly FS2. I'm leaning more towards no, but I know that X-Plane has rudimentary combat functions. I would be interested in seeing if IPACS will actually explore that as a potential avenue. Although I will say this, IPACS, before you even think about bringing in combat, please bring in the capability to do carrier landings with that Hornet. I would love to have an operational tailhook. Alright, we are coming in a bit fast, but this runway is very long, so I'm just going to float it down here. And we'll lose a bit of airspeed, a little bit of flare. Perfect. Okay, and since this is an F-15, we're going to do some aerodynamic braking as I put the speed brakes out. Let's just verify. Outstanding. Okay, well, that was not a bad landing. Of course, I couldn't keep it on the center line because I'm looking from the outside. Inside the cockpit, I might have had a little bit better luck on that. But be that as it may, here we are, folks. We are here at Edwards Air Force Base out in Cali. I might stay in California for a little bit longer, or I might explore some other areas that we have available. For example, Switzerland. I've been meaning to download that one and give that a try. I already have New York City, so don't be too surprised if you see that in the very near future. But yeah, I kind of want to see some more areas in California, since I really don't get the opportunity to go out west a whole heck of a lot. Alright, let me see. I need to be thinking about parking. I know we've got a little ways to go until we get to our parking area, but I'm thinking somewhere over there in front of those hangars maybe. We'll see if they still have those shelters the way that Nellis did, because I would probably want to park in there maybe. And that looks curiously like a heavy. If I didn't know any better, I would say that was a Lockheed C5 Galaxy. Huh. Yeah, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, the closer that I get to it, the more it does look like a C5 Galaxy. We might have to investigate this. Provided, of course, I don't taxi my way off the taxiway here. Those are definitely Hercules. And yeah, holy crap, that is in fact a C5 Galaxy. That is too cool. Wow, that is really cool. Alright, but I'm thinking we're going to want to park over there because I do in fact see some of the shelters, and I don't want this to be too long of a video. So Austin, I hope you've enjoyed this first look at the F-15E Strike Eagle. They did it well. It is well modeled. The flight dynamics are great. Just needs a little bit more functionality in the cockpit is all. But yeah, I love it. Although, me being me, I'm still kind of partial to the Hornet over this bird. But that's just me because honestly, my family is a Navy and Marine Corps family. Very few of us, if any, have ever joined the Air Force. So naturally, I tend to have a bit more loyalty towards the Navy and the Marines. But I do not begrudge our Air Force brethren because you know what? You guys fly some of the coolest aircraft. This being one of them. Alright, you know what? I'm thinking I want to park in between these guys here. So let's see if we can push ourselves forward. Yeah, that'll do nicely. How about we line ourselves up right here? And that should do it for me. Okay, I gotta remember just how far forward I need to be to line up the gear. Right about there should do it. Brakes are a little bit bouncy. I've noticed that on several of the AeroFly FS2 planes, so hopefully that'll be something the developers will fix quickly because it's not as dramatic in this aircraft. However, something like the Cessna or the King Air, yeah, and especially the P-38 Lightning, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, so I'm hoping that gets fixed with a quickness. Alright, but here we are, folks. Here we are. We're at Edwards. So thank you, as always, for watching. This has been BelGeode. I've been flying in AeroFly FS2, and I've been flying inside of the F-15 Echo Strike Eagle. We're here at Edwards. We're going to be here for a little bit until the next episode, of course. So if you enjoy what you've seen, please feel free to give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. If there's any particular aircraft you want me to take a look at, please let me know in the comments, and I will try to accommodate you just as I did with my good buddy Austin. Alrighty, folks. That is it for me. So once again, I want to thank you as always, and I will catch you on the next one. Oh, and by the way, Flight Sim guy, if you're watching this, look at that parking job. It doesn't get any better than that. Alrighty, folks. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.